The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show that's brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There's a 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan, Michael and Moscow with you on the weekly show where we dive through Leeds United news. We will preview the upcoming games and pick heroes and villains. It's in 3 parts. First of all, thank you if you bought stuff from our merch store for Christmas, keeping this whole silly enterprise going. Nice jumper you've got on there, Michael.
Thank you very much. Nice hoodie you've got on there, Dan.
Thank you. Do you want to see the back of it? Look at that.
That's very nice.
Good for the audio listener there, that one. Me turning around in the chair, and Moscow is waving a scarf. So, no, we do appreciate it. We really do. Merch sales.
He's got it upside down, of course, but he's trying his best.
But, yes, merch sales really, really important to us, and we really are grateful for it as well. So, hopefully, you are providing nice gifts for somebody. Details of the merch on the website as well. Have a look at thesquareball.net. Some fine articles on there, while Moscow continues to make love to the camera. Not literally. Part 1 of the show then. Let's get through the Leeds United news, and obviously COVID is on everyone's lips in the literal and metaphorical sense.
In me lungs.
At the minute.
It's been in me lungs.
How was it, Moscow? Is it all right?
Overall, I'd say I'm against it.
Marks out of 10 for it?
1.
1 out of 10.
And
okay.
that was, wasn't even, I mean, it wasn't too, people say it's like bad flu, and it is, but it's like flu, there's no flaw to the symptoms. Like for a week, I just kept feeling worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's like if you get the flu, you feel bad and then it sort of stays steady, doesn't it? You like that for a few days. Whereas this was just not knowing when I was going to stop feeling worse was probably the thing about it, because then there's that consciousness of, well, it is technically a deadly virus. So if it doesn't stop getting worse, the implications of that seem severe potentially. But I think I was possibly the most hydrated land mammal in the country.
You still classing yourself as a land mammal?
Yeah, just about. Didn't grow gills. My paracetamol stockpile came in very handy, and Pat Bamford's goal probably hurt him more than anybody else, but that going to bed that night was the first evening for a week that I didn't feel worse than waking up. And then sort of still a bit, I don't feel great now. I've been over it for however long.
Just you talking about paracetamol made me think about Michael, and I want to know your opinions on people who buy premium paracetamol products and don't just buy the cheapest shit available.
These people don't exist.
They do. Yeah, they buy the expensive stuff, even though it's got exactly the same dose in it. What's your thoughts on those people?
Well, what's to say about them? Why would you?
Fools and their money.
Is it because you like showing off? It's not even like I'm in a flash car where you can be like, well, I've got a BMW or whatever. I'm not impressed if you've got Nurofen.
I like how triggered you've been by this. I did it on purpose. But anyway, let's get back to the point we were making, which is carrying on with this Premier League malarkey. The midweek games were floated, weren't they, as being potentially postponed because, poor footballers can't play more than once a week.
Well, no, it was
pathetic.
They were saying that we were going to postpone games potentially because of COVID and all the cases. But instead of postponing the next games, they were going to postpone the games after because they're the ones that Jurgen Klopp didn't want playing anyway. So it would be better if those ones didn't exist. I mean, Jurgen Klopp did have his say on the refereeing performance. Was it Paul Tierney who was the ref at Spurs? He was on the pitch having a chat with him afterwards, wasn't he? I mean, in fairness, he did need a talking to. Yeah.
He did, didn't he say, I don't have a problem with referees, I have a problem with you? I think this is the quote. So I don't imagine he'll get away with that, although he does seem to get away with a lot of things.
I think he will.
Well, they'll get away with a fine, won't he? They'll fine him and he'll pay it and it'll be okay.
Anyway, yeah, so what do you reckon then about the missed games? Yeah, it feels like there is the protection of the TV deal is part of it as much as trying to protect players and the spread of COVID, but, that's the natural assumption when it comes to the Premier League, isn't it? Is to be cynical about the commercial aspects of it, because that's what it is. It's a big fat commercial beast.
I don't think you need to be cynical to see that the commercial aspects are front and centre with it, because it just is the case. There's no way of... It's not a cynicism that is leading you to that viewpoint. It's the fact that every game gets moved for TV, more or less. And at Christmas, it is every game, isn't it? Haven't Amazon got every match? Isn't that part of the deal?
Yeah, one of them has, definitely.
And that was the week that they were looking at. I think that was the one sensible aspect of trying to move that round of fixes was it was saying, well, it's a broadcast package, so we can just play them all at a different date as a block. But it didn't really do anything to solve
Aren't
COVID.
Amazon busy enough at this time of year anyway? They would have welcomed the chance to have some time off, surely, no?
Yes, it's the same people who do the old deliveries.
Yeah.
After then go and cover.
Can't drive my van this week because we've got to show Leeds against Villa.
Yeah, if those games hadn't gone ahead, then everybody in the warehouse got 3 days off.
Yeah.
But not going to happen now. Selfish football.
I think the bad thing about the games going ahead is that some of them will end up getting postponed and at the last minute, which for people travelling will be really bloody annoying because someone is going to get. I'm just looking at the fixtures now. I mean, they do try and make Boxing Day fixtures vaguely close, don't they? But I mean, still, like Norwich to Arsenal. Norwich and Arsenal is still a fair distance. Wolves, Watford, Villa, Chelsea. There are some fairly long distance journeys in there, and someone is going to have to travel on Boxing Day with shit public transport to get halfway to, Birmingham and then find out that the game isn't on.
They needed to box a bit cleverer. And we were talking a bit about this on the match ball, but instead of cancelling all the games, which it seems medical scientific opinion is it won't actually do anything to stop footballers getting COVID or not. It's not going to, the circuit breaker won't work in that sense. To try and think of something cleverer, either in terms of when games are called off and say, like the day 24 hours before the game is your last chance to say, we can't fulfill this fixture for these reasons. And then if you have some problems on the day, then you just got to deal with it, call up your under 18s, whatever. Find a solution along those terms. Or if it's some better testing that is the way I was talking about it with, I think it's the NFL are approaching it of doing more testing. So they're testing players more so that they can get them back quicker. So instead of 10 days of isolation, it's 2 negative tests inside 24 hours and they'll bring you back, and doing more detailed tests to find out if the players are actually a contagion risk or not. So that's a way of doing it of you can bring players back sooner by testing them better and more often. And then the other aspect is just get these holdouts vaccinated, because there's the story in the Times today that Henry Winter has pointed out that Leeds players, because of the experiences of Rob Price, the club head of medicine who lost both of his parents to COVID, they've all listened to him and they trust him and they know the way that he looks after their health. And so Leeds has all but a 100% vaccine, double jab and boosted. It's that somebody's just waiting for their opportunity to have the booster. That's the only reason it's not everybody. But then at other clubs, what is happening is it's not even people getting COVID, it's players who have not got vaccinated having to isolate because they've got a close contact. So yes, it's a choice. People do have the personal choice not to get vaccinated, but then I don't see why the repercussions of that choice should be, for example, a Watford fan not being able to watch the game against Wolves and losing money on a hotel and travel, transport, all the things that go along, just because Billy Bollocks in the dressing room somewhere has refused to get vaccinated, even though they've probably got access to the kind of medical advice and assurance and care that any ordinary person on the street would absolutely beg to have. So under those circumstances, I was thinking, well,
why are we being? Well, it's like the fixture against Arsenal. Why are we being penalised for the choices of others? Which, like you said, we don't need to get into it. Not interested in your opinion on vaccines or whether right or wrong. It's a choice, and if you choose not to, then we should just. We
are a fully vaccinated podcast.
Yeah, we are, and we crack on.
The Moscow's not had his booster actually because you
had to delay it. I was 10 days
you were diseased.
Short before I went to that super spreader event, and now I have to wait until.
Are you going to name and shame the filthy people who got married?
No, bless them. But I mean, I suppose as a public service, it does show that the vaccine will protect you up to a point, but it can't stop you from getting it. But I wonder what it would have been like, because you could feel in the symptoms that I had that there was something more than just a bad cold going on. There's kind of a real physical bodily feeling of these waves of physical illness that are beyond what I would appreciate enjoying normally. So I am looking forward
enjoying a really interesting choice
experiencing normally. So I am looking forward to getting my booster on the 30th, and I don't understand why footballers in particular would not want it, when, I mean, the poor bastards are full of salt and caffeine anyway to get them playing matches.
Pumping them full of horse hormones and shit.
Well, exactly.
Not they don't do that, by the way.
Well, there are all sorts of
monkey glands
treatments that footballers go through to get them, to kill the pain and get them playing, and I don't understand why this particular...
because no one on Facebook has ever told them that they shouldn't have those things.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's, if that's the way they want to be, but I just feel too many people are paying too high a price for their decisions at the moment. And that's not fair.
And we had Angus Kinnear, Leeds United CEO, talking about this in the Times as part of their coverage of it. Doesn't write in the programme anymore. Not good enough for him now. Times only.
It's probably for the best, given some of the stuff in recent weeks.
No gags about Pavel Cibicki in this column. Knocked on the head for the national audience.
He's not even in the notes, is he? But yes, he's got a 4-year ban, hasn't he?
Well, he already had a 4-year ban.
Is that
Pavel? But he has now been convicted on appeal of match fixing. Well, to be fair to him, he got booked. And the allegations were that, the facts of the case as tried are that, and as they've all been convicted on, was that 27 betting accounts opened the day before that all put money on Pavel Cibicki getting booked in this game, and it would have been his third booking of the season. So statistically unlikely. At the same time, he was loaned the equivalent of £25,000, which his argument is that he paid it back with interest. So you could hardly describe it as a bribe. Why would he be involved in this if he gave the money back with interest? But then the way he explains why he needed the money was gambling debts. He's been a gambling addict since he was 18. And I think my view of it is you kind of join the dots together that these also convicted match fixers and betting syndicates who loaned him this money to get out of one debt basically said, well, you also have to do X for us as well as paying this money back. That seems to be what's going on. But he's not a happy chappy, old Pavel. He's convinced that the Swedish FA are making an example of him, and that he maintains as well that he's completely innocent, that he did absolutely nothing wrong. And the 4-year ban was actually imposed on him after the initial trial that found him innocent, because there's no actual evidence of a contract in place between him and these people. But then the prosecutors appealed and said, and the higher court decided there's enough circumstantial evidence to convict him, but he was already banned for 4 years, and he worldwide as well. And he maybe has a case to say that's unfair, and certainly has a case to say that somebody should have helped him at some point, because he's lost millions, lost his girlfriend. He says his family don't trust him anymore, and he's now 27, so you're talking nearly 10 years a gambling addict while being a professional footballer, and nobody has managed to get him out of that hole.
I wonder how many of those years were spent with a gambling firm on the front of his shirt.
Well, yeah, exactly. So there's a lot to be said about the sort of the culture of football and how it lands.
Hey, don't worry, it'll be
kids like him into these situations.
It'll be banned soon, and it'll all be crypto. Don't worry. Talking about people making an example of other people, we've been charged by the FA, just to tidy this one up. Us personally, for bringing the game into disrepute.
Fair enough. Is it what we said about Gabby Aguilar?
Yeah, something like that.
Was it the 5th of December episode? That's 32 minutes in.
Yeah, something like that. I think it's 2nd of December.
2nd of December it was.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, Leeds United FC has been fined £20,000 for a breach of FA rule, blah, 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 blah. Chelsea, 93rd minute, etc., etc. We admitted failing to ensure that our players conducted themselves in an orderly fashion when they surrounded the match referee and accepted the standard penalty. There must just be a certain amount of resignation when it comes to this. Like, just fucking admit it, pay the fine, make it go away. What
is the point? Because I know if we were fined £20,000, it would be an issue. But to a Premier League football club, it doesn't put anyone off.
It's not in any way, shape, or form a deterrent. And I mean,
it's not a deterrent or a punishment, and it's just basically going, just give us some money. Just give us some money. It's literally like us being fined like 20 pence. You'd be like, all right, fine, whatever.
If Bielsa goes into the changing room and says, your behaviour has cost this football club £20,000, it's not really going to work, is
and
it?
It's just it's just mental, isn't it? I mean, like we've seen all the clips of Chelsea doing exactly the same thing in exactly the same game. But did that cross the threshold of the referee getting a bit annoyed by it because it was a bit early on in the game? Maybe not. Maybe that's the difference between Leeds and Chelsea in that game. He just wasn't as annoyed at that point as Leeds were later on. Fuck objective standards. Just do what we want. Make it up as we go along. Whatever. Well done.
£20,000.
Enjoy your stupid £20,000.
I'm sure it'll never happen again now. That's good. Well done.
Right. On to other matters. Other joyful matters. Injuries. You're out. Should be back soon. Hopefully back soon, but we don't know. Clash of bones. Rafinha, is he all right? Hope so.
Don't know.
Cock, back to his best. Jackie, dead leg. Done. Next.
I mean, we don't really know, do we? We don't know if Jackie's dead leg. You can be back fairly quickly from that, can't you? Or you can be out longer. I mean,
tried carrying on, but
Rafinha's was a dead leg against Man City, wasn't it? When Fernandinho clattered him, but that was obviously a more that was towards the
hematoma, wasn't it?
The top end of a dead leg.
Yeah, he thought he was worried about them chopping his leg off at one point, wasn't he? I think that's that never occurred from anyone punching you in the leg at school, did it?
If they had chopped his leg off...
Did you see the photo of his bruise?
No, but I'm saying it was worse than like a standard dead leg.
If they had chopped his leg off, I'm fairly sure he would have picked up that leg that they removed and then beaten somebody to death with the soggy end of it. Probably
Ben White.
Fernandinho. Oh, Ben White, yeah, to be fair.
Take everything out on Ben White.
Anyway, look, it's January in another week and a half and the transfer window is open. Are you excited about that? Because it looks like we might be going into the market.
Shall we do a live stream for the full month?
How's that going to work?
We just never sleep. We'll just speculate about Leeds transfers.
Like footballers, just pumping ourselves full of caffeine.
Just keep going with it. We'll get a ticker along the bottom of the screen.
Countdown clock alongside it, maybe. Yeah. Not the countdown clock as in did it, boo, but like a Sky Sports News type one.
Yeah. But yeah, we might sign some players.
Why is Lewis O'Brien at Huddersfield being linked still? I don't think we're ever going to go back in for him, are we? To make a point.
Just because they can't think of anyone else.
Do you want that lad from Juventus, though?
Yeah, we're not getting
Was it
him.
Weston McKennie is his name?
Yeah.
That's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not getting him.
Why not?
Because he's at Juventus.
Why?
Too expensive.
But we got somebody from Valencia.
Yeah, Juventus aren't that good.
Yeah, I suppose not. I don't know. Is he any good?
He's apparently.
Yeah.
It's not really worked for him in Serie A, but quality midfielder. USA international.
Where has the link come from? Because I did see this.
Media.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be any.
The internet,
there didn't seem to
Michael.
be any kind of basis for it whatsoever.
Have you heard of the internet?
It's very much like, did you see the links saying that Rafinha is going to sign for Bayern Munich?
No.
Well, that's been talked up, £40 million, and I think...
40 million?
Well, this is the key ingredients. Which player do Leeds fans really like? Rafinha. Which club do they not like at all? Bayern Munich. And what fee will really aggravate them? 40 million. So let's say...
It's like Phillips to Scum for 40 million.
Yeah, exactly.
That same deal.
And they were... Scum sent Tony Colton to watch Illan Meslier in the Manchester City game. Did you see that? And I don't think he reported very well because he let in 7. So fair play, Illan, I think, for playing himself out of a move
Take
to
him
Old
on for the
Trafford.
team.
Yeah, he's done very well.
Yeah.
It changes the context once you realise the subplot. I don't know about why it was still in for Lewis O'Brien.
Talking about the internet,
McKennie.
The internet reporting these things. The internet is also reporting that we should bring people back off loans to fix our injury crisis.
Ryan Edmondson is the man.
Bogus McCalmont, Leif Davis not getting a game at Bournemouth. That, according to speculation, that's getting cancelled in January.
Yeah, I mean they're the only ones that would potentially come back and play. You would imagine, because although McCalmont, I mean he's playing in League One.
Would you want to come back to Leeds in January when you're in Ibiza if you're Mateus Bogus?
It looks like he's having quite a nice time as well. He'd be going from playing in Ibiza to probably being on the bench.
Can I hang around on a yacht, or do I have to go gaze at the River Aire in winter?
But I mean, the squad at the moment is at the point of probably would like some defenders. Like Leif Davis would have played the other day if we actually had him still, because Beno Bielsa's he's kind of used him a bit, hasn't he, in the past? And even though he's not getting a game at Bournemouth, he has more experience than most of our players all the players that were on the bench. And also we'd have put Dallas to right back and he'd have gone left back.
Who's playing in the 23s then? If we've got all the 23s in our first team, is it the 18s who are playing in the 23s?
Well, there was an interesting. They drew 0-0 with Everton last night as we record on. They played on Monday night and were really good. And in the second half, Jack Jenkins, the midfielder, played right back, and Mark Jackson, the manager, said that was because Bielsa wanted to have a look at him as a right back. So there's another option. So I don't know if we're drastically trying to retrain some of the under-23s into different positions, or if it's just for general purposes. Because I think we do try to move them around and put them in different positions to see how they get on.
Bit of a kick in the bollocks for Cody Drama. That seeing him play one game and be like, Jack, give it a go.
Give you a go next.
Have you? Did we decide if Jack Jenkins was he a budget jeans brand, or was he a youthful perfume?
He sounds more budget jeans to me. Like a sort of Sainsbury's are doing like a spin-off denim range. Yeah. The Jack Jenkins. They do the denim jackets too.
Actually, I think if between bringing any of these players who are on loan back, I think we'd be more likely to be putting Jack Jenkins in than McAlmont, because Bielsa said when he was asked about this, we made a choice in summer as to which players can help, and they stayed, and which players can't help us this season, and they've gone. And unless they've got a lot better while they're away, we'll be sticking with the players that we've got.
Alfie McAlmont, isn't he doing some one-on-one training with Paul Butler? And there is a one-word answer to this. So. There's a one-word answer to this.
Yes.
Correct.
I do feel better.
One for 90s indie Britpop fans. If not, just Google's your friend. That's all I can say.
It took me a while to get there, but yes.
The women, their match, County Cup match against Bradford Park Avenue, called off due to the nasty weather. Sort it out, Bradford Park Avenue. That's all I can say.
Was it an away match?
Doesn't matter.
I think so, yeah.
They didn't fancy the weather, did they? We know that. That's probably an established fact.
At least it's an original way of calling a game off instead of crying COVID. Klopp could learn. He should say that the Anfield pitch isn't good enough.
Hey, talking about cups, FA Cup, no replays. Third and fourth round. I mean, fourth round obviously not going to be a problem. No. Third round replay. Would you like to have seen us bring West Ham back and lose Ellen Road?
Well, in these days of it being hard to get tickets, it's nice. It'd be nice to have more games, wouldn't it? So people can see us. But yeah, we might have to just wait for next year.
It's the interesting thing about the whole FA Cup fixture and COVID and also the transfer window. These things all kind of work together because we only have 2 league games in January, not counting Burnley. So once Burnley's out of the way, and then we don't play another Premier League match until the 16th. So if we are talking about bringing somebody in to help us out of this mess and some time to get them up to speed, if we sign somebody on the 1st of January, then we don't have to actually use them until the 16th, and we only need them once more after that against Newcastle. And I mean, I might play against Newcastle and we'd still win. So there is a little bit of more of a rest coming in January to also recover some of our players, which is then, that's the yin of the yang of whether we go and spend a load of money on Americans in Italy in January. If we've only got Burnley, who will beat West Ham, and Newcastle, who will beat, to play in January, after a month, how many players might be back fit by that point? We could be over the injury crisis. Well, it's funny. I mean, Calvin Phillips, nobody knows whether he's actually been operated on or what, least of all Marcelo Bielsa. But when he was originally injured and they said he's going to be out for about 2 months, it took us to the start of February, which was when we play. I think I worked out he could be back for Aston Villa away on the 9th. The Wednesday would be close but possible, and then we're away to Everton But
I don't think Calvin has played in any of the last 3 games we've played against Villa, has he?
Maybe he's frightened of Tyrone Mings.
Well, Sam Byram's put him in his place now, so
that's true.
He'll be a bit more meek.
But I guess the upshot of that would be that he misses then Burnley, West Ham, Newcastle. And that's not too bad. And so that almost gets you into that frame of thinking, and that will be Bielsa's argument of like, do we need to sign somebody?
Yes, we do.
Whereas I think we probably could do with somebody, but you can see where there's the tension there of whether it's...
Please, can they sign someone?
A short term or a long term.
Please sign somebody. It's all I want, something new and shiny.
Well, then they'll hardly play. Because Calvin will be back fit by the time, before you even blink. And then, as will... I mean, if Bamford and James and Struijk are in the running for Boxing Day, then they're certainly in the running for January, aren't they? So, I think it's going to be... It hadn't occurred to me until I started talking just now, but January does actually give us a fighting chance because we're not playing very many games. And I think the best thing for Leeds United at the moment
is to not play football.
To just really not play very many games. The fewer games we have to play, the better.
That wraps up part 1 of the video for the weekly show this time around. We also have the Liverpool preview, yay, to come, and we'll pick this week's heroes and villains as well. Check out the playlist on YouTube.
The Square Ball Podcast.